Morgul's Tower. This is it, folks. You've slogged and run and jumped and shot your way through slime, horror, and weird architecture to reach the Archfiend's Tower. But if you think it's all downhill from here, you're sadly mistaken. No indeed. The last two levels of the game feature gun emplacements, compost heap monsters, mushroom drones, and a blind maze. And a lot of jumping. Even the blocks are kept to a bare minimum. But if you're as tough as they say you are, Morgul's gonna have to taste your laser. This is the last world of the game, and you get some overtones of the first world with the return of the blue sky and the thrusters that keep some of the platforms afloat. Also, we get the welcome return of Hulsbeck's superlative score, noticeably absent during World 4. And the level design of 5.2 is pure genius, and very courageous to do in an otherwise action-oriented game.
Featured system, Atari ST.
The original team at Factor 5 ported Turrican to the Atari ST, losing none of the graphical charm of the Amiga version, nor any of the scope or size of the levels. What did change, however, was the music. Hulsbeck's originals were translated to the ST by Jochen Hippel, he of the Amiga 7-voice technology, and while the basic game remains unchanged, you cannot fail to notice the lower frame rate, compared to the Amiga version that is. However, it's still Turrican at heart, and worth your time if you've ever owned an ST. And that's it, isn't it? Well, not quite. We've covered all the worlds, but not all the systems. After the success of the home computer formats, over the next few years, Accolade, under the Ballistic label, would release a port of Turrican by a team called the Code Monkeys. Let's take a look at their efforts.
Featured system, NEC PC engine.
Colourful, smooth, and sounding good, there are however some minor flaws hiding underneath this version. Firstly, Hulsbeck's original score is slightly tweaked, and only one of the tunes from each world is used, which can make them a touch more repetitive. Though in defence of this, silence on World 4 is preferable to the chilling ambience of wind and random sounds. Secondly, the run button, the start button by another name, activates a switcher between the grenade and power line weapons, which takes a lot of getting used to if you're more familiar with the home computer versions. Despite these nitpicks, the Code Monkeys have managed to all but capture the spirit of the game on this system, at least in my opinion.
Featured system, Nintendo Game Boy.
It was never going to be as colourful as any other version, on a monochrome 4-grey screen, and the main sprite does lack detail. However, despite also having the start button switcher, and again, only using one tune from each world, this version manages to shine out the better for cramming the sheer scope of this game into a pocket-sized cartridge.
Featured system, Sega Mega Drive / Genesis.
This version immediately beats out its compatriots on console due to the factor of featuring all of Chris Hulsbeck's original score, albeit ever so slightly tweaked in some places. And while it still has the switcher, it's been moved to button C, leaving the start button free to pause the game. And that's the lot. Join me next time as I dive into the sequel with no equal.
On the next History of Turrican,
we take a look at Turrican 2, sometimes subtitled The Final Fight, released on Commodore 64, Sinclair ZX Spectrum, Amstrad CPC, Commodore Amiga, Atari ST, and IBM compatible PC. Don't miss it!